on the News Channel 5 network. This is Titans Talk.
Welcome into Titans Talk here on News Channel 5+. I'm Jonathan Hutton, and coming up this hour, Rhett Bryan from the Titans Radio Network will be in studio with us discussing all things Tennessee Titans, and we'll be taking your phone calls if you'd like to join the show at 615-737-7767. We'll hear from Mike Mularkey, the Titans interim head coach, coming up in just a moment. But first, we recap yesterday's loss for the Titans to the Panthers. It was a battle of two former Heisman Trophy winners, Marcus Mariota and Cam Newton. Here's 7-0 first quarter win. A great blocking up front for Dexter McCluster allows the running back to go 25 yards for the score. Carolina comes right back. Cam Newton play action finds Ed Dixon wide open in the back of the end zone. It was 14-7 Panthers, 14-10 at the half. Halfway through the third, Titans trying to get back in it. Mariota kind of looked like he was throwing it away. Kurt Coleman makes the interception. DGB needs to run a better route there. Titans defense holds. However, 3rd and 1, Mariota to a wide-open Anthony Fasano, and he flat-out drops it. Don't see that much from the veteran. Under 3 to play, goal to go, and Cam Newton's just too big and too strong. Stretches over for the touchdown, and the Titans lose to the Panthers 27-10. Carolina improves to 9-0. Mariota, not bad numbers, but he did throw a pick. He didn't have much help from a run game. And afterwards, Mike Mularkey gave credit where credit was due with the Carolina Panthers. Today, updated several injuries of note, including Justin Hunter and Jason McCourty. Here's Mike Mularkey earlier today at St. Thomas Sports Park.
I guess you're going to have to obviously do something with Justin out at wide receiver. Have you made any determination as to what you'll do, especially on a short week?
We're in the process of that right now. We're talking about it. Actually, Justin's having surgery as we speak, and he will go on IR today. But we're looking at some options, even from within with our practice squad with Trey McBride and elsewhere.
Is a wide receiver spot, is there any reason to think Kendall might be ready by this week?
We're hopeful. He ran today already. We're going to have a walkthrough tonight. I don't know how much running will be involved, but I'm kind of anxious to see how he responds just to running today, and then expand that tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a little more of a Thursday type tempo where we need to see some speed by not just him, but our secondary, the health of our secondary, and really to time up the passing game. So can't be a walkthrough the whole week.
Did you felt like Justin was doing okay in your 2 weeks on the job here?
He was getting better. I mean, obviously had the touchdown against New Orleans. He made some plays yesterday that I thought I hadn't seen him do, coming back to the ball like he did on one of the curl routes. He's been blocking better these 2 weeks, which has really been demanded of that group. We need those guys to block, and he got hurt. That's what he was doing. He had a real good block and got hurt on the block, but I thought he was trying to get better and better. Yeah.
I know you got a lot of uncertainty at the position, but you need your receiving core to really step up here over the next couple of weeks. It's been certainly down to stress this season.
Yeah, we do. They're, with the injuries, obviously with Kendall and Harry missing some time, and now losing Justin, it was already, we made a decision to be heavier at tight end than at wide receiver. So when you limit your numbers, those numbers got to be productive. And we were last week, not this week as much as against the Saints. And I think it's a good room. I think they demand production themselves, let alone me or anybody else being on them about it.
If you promoted McBride, would you consider looking at him as kick returner, given that Dexter's not having much?
We would talk about that, yes. Yeah, I think his whole role would be, we feel like he can help us special teams wise, not just as a returner, but in other phases as well.
You mentioned the receivers there yesterday. Was it a case were they not getting open enough yesterday, or just not being utilized enough?
A little bit of both. We're trying to establish the run there a little bit, which is really kind of our mentality. But no, that's a good defense. That's a good secondary, and we did some things that I thought schematically were going to be better, but they weren't. And I think they're just so sound. It wasn't like they're real complicated. We didn't know what they were doing. We knew. They were good in coverage on some of those things. It is. I mean, you're really, you are on Monday, and sometimes it's really till Tuesday that you start to feel the Sunday game. So, again, we did some things last week to lighten it up a little bit, even in some of the periods, like with the 2-minute drill was cut back. We were thinking ahead a little bit last week with the number of reps. And then, I emphasize it after practice every day that how important it was, not just for this game against Carolina, knowing how physical of a game it was going to be, but also knowing that we had to play the next Thursday, that they had to take care of their bodies. And again, none of us know how each one of them has to take care of their body. What is that? Only they know. And so they had opportunities to do that. And then this week we got to be smart about how we go about this week. Because it was a physical game. I anticipated that. So the schedule has been kind of formatted to handle that with a light walkthrough tonight, and then a later morning for them this morning. Tomorrow morning they can get some rest in the morning, come in a little bit later. We're not going to practice till the afternoon tomorrow, which is, first time for these guys. But again, it'll be a lighter load, and then, Wednesday will be a Saturday-type tempo. So,
how much do you guys discuss the AFC South picture from the standpoint that that there's still much to play for heading into a divisional game?
We're really with the team.
Right.
It's mentioned, but it's not the primary focus. It's the next opponent. Really, nothing we can do with all what's happening elsewhere with any of the other teams and who they're playing and when they're playing. It's a matter of us taking care of our business with our upcoming opponent, which is the Jaguars this week.
How's your cornerback situation from the injury standpoint? Because Parrish didn't play, Brady went out again, and Mack's still in limbo.
It's a little bit like a role reversal now. Now Bleedy's with the tightness. Now Parrish has kind of moved ahead of Bleedy. Again, we've got to do some things, like I mentioned earlier, we've got to do some things practice-wise. The tempo's got to be almost game speed so we can figure out who is healthy, not only in the secondary, but also with Kendall and the timing of the passing game. So right now, if Bleedy's limited, Parrish should practice more than Bleedy. And then obviously J-Mac, we are going to put him on IR with Justin as well.
You gonna have surgery?
He is.
How big a loss is that for the secondary then?
He's a good player. I mean, that's a loss. Not only that, but just his presence on the field, his presence in the locker room, just in the meetings. I'm going to try to keep him involved with all that because I think it's important that he's around these guys. They have a lot of respect for him as a coaching staff does, but it's a loss for sure.
Do you expect to add a corner in that spot, or do you have numbers now where maybe it goes?
Right now, numbers are okay. Again, we've obviously got a couple of spots open that we're talking about. We need to fill. And whether that's a corner or not, even if we can get one on the practice squad that can start to learn the system, maybe a better option right now. Because we have the numbers as long as we've got Parrish or Bleedy, one of them can line up on Sundays.
Looked like BW got even more snaps than Cody Riggs yesterday. That sign of what you guys like in BW so far? He's made some plays for us. I mean, really, there's nothing on Cody Riggs either. I mean, he's played well too. They both, for a position that we've needed somebody to step up, I think they've really done well, especially yesterday when the pressure to cover their guys better than they did the first half when we started pressuring. I mean, the coverage had to get tighter, and I thought that happened. I mean, that's why he was holding the ball as much as he was.
What's maybe a bigger concern for you? You said Dorial that didn't finish that route. It was clear that he let up. He also said after the game, there's nothing I could do there on the interception. More concerned with finishing the route or not getting the mentality that he...
Yeah, you know what? A lot of that is he's a young player, and I think it's a really good lesson for him. Unfortunately, a tough lesson for our team, but I think it's a good lesson. That is a a throw that is a time throw, a spot throw, that if you're running that thing and you're coming out of it, that would have dropped right in his lap, which I've seen Marcus throw to Delaney, not last week against the Saints, earlier in the season, where he threw it to him towards our bench, because he expects the guy to be there, and if you're there, it'll be there. But I've seen that throw on other teams, same route, same pressure, even on the quarterback, and if the receiver is where he's supposed to be, that thing's going to drop in there. So he's got to understand that. That's the way Marcus, why he's so accurate and so efficient, is because he doesn't wait for guys to get open. Okay, he knows where they're going to be, and he's going to throw it there. They need to be there, and that's no different for DGB. It's just a young player really learning a tough lesson.
How do you get him to take that next step? You don't want to constantly rely?
No, I'm not going to. We're not going to. It was already addressed as soon as he came over the bench in a real positive fashion. He had to understand that. How he responded to it, that's, again, to me, that's a young player's response. But it's been addressed. He understands it. He's going to see it on tape at some point that he needs to finish the route.
Can you talk about the decision not to go with Cobb yesterday, and is there a chance he might be? There
is a chance, yes. Again, we'll have 3 days here to make that decision. But really, last week, Bishop Sankey had a very good week of practice. Dexter came in with an ankle the Monday, and so he did not practice, or he was limited on Wednesday. And some of the things that were specifically designed to Dexter, Bishop was better suited in case Dexter could not play that role. So that was the reasoning behind that. And again, we'll see how Dexter's doing. But Bishop had a good week of practice, so it was an easier decision to make.
Bishop didn't get a ton of touches during the game, but you talk about the week of practice that he had. Have you been impressed with him so far since taking over?
Yeah, he knows. He's been. Antonio has stepped up. Dexter obviously has had his role here since we've been here, but he knows he's had limited reps. He's got to take advantage of them. He had one draw in the game that I thought he made a nice run, but he certainly hasn't gone into a closet. He is working harder and harder. He's taken it very professionally, and I like the way he's handled it.
That's Titans interim head coach Mike Mularkey. This is Titans Talk. We are live tonight on News Channel 5+. I'm Jonathan Hutton, and when we return, your phone calls, 615-737-7767, our number. Rhett Bryan from the Titans Radio Network in studio with us, discussing the Titans and taking your calls. Again, our number at the screen right now, 615-737-7767. Stick with us. This is Titans Talk on News Channel 5+.